Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to another episode of Balancing Healthy. Today, I'm getting straight into it because I got a question on my Instagram of like, Sarah, can you speak on this topic? So pretty much we're going to be speaking a little bit more on how to balance your social life with your health goals, tracking, training, all the things like that. So the actual question or like comment I got in my DMs was, honestly, for me, I feel conflicted on nights out, whether I should eat less throughout the day to have the calories banked for the food and drinks later, or should I try have a high protein breakfast and lunch as normal? So maybe just a bit more input on balancing the social life. And I'm going to break this down into two bits, but firstly, I just want to praise this gal. I won't say her name in case she doesn't want me to, but I just want to praise her because she, within this message that she sent me, she also told me that she's lost 10 kilos in 4 months just purely from listening to the podcast, watching my content on Instagram, and just like any advice that I've given to her in general. So like, I think like if I can be helping someone lose 10 kilos just from like this free content that I'm putting out to you guys, like it blows my mind. And again, it's that thing of, like I said in the last episode, like, let me know if you're enjoying the podcast, if you enjoy my content, like anything like that, if it's helpful, if there's things you want to know more about, because I'm like, it's literally free for you guys. And you could be missing out on things like this. It's like, it's just incredible. So proud of you, my girl. But I've got notes here as always. And what I want to do with this question is I want to kind of speak to it in two parts. So the overarching view is basically like, what should I do when I'm going out for drinks and dinner on a Saturday night, essentially. So firstly, I want to speak to the week of, and then I'm going to speak to what to do on the day of. So all of this, take it with a grain of salt. Just remember, like, depending if you're on maintenance, if you're in a deficit, if you're building, there's really not much to it when it comes to this. It doesn't really matter because you want more calories. But maintenance, deficit, just take this with a grain of salt. These are the things that I implement. It's the things I do with my clients. I'll bring a client story into this as well. And then, we'll go from there. So anyway, the week of. So this is why I'm always really big on planning my weeks in advance on a Sunday night or Monday morning. I'm like, cool, what have I got on for the week? What meals do I need to cook for? What meals am I having out? Like, what events have I got on like that kind of thing. Really, really big on planning it out. I ask my clients this as well in their check-in. So then when I do their check-in on a Monday, I can see their plan for the week, and then I can go, okay, cool, like this is how we can navigate that. For example, I have a client in a deficit at the moment. She pretty much said all she has on this weekend, like this whole week really, is going out for Yochi. And I'm like, cool. So on, let's say it's Saturday, obviously we want to make sure we're hitting protein in our meals because Yochi is not going to be protein. It's going to be more carbs. So just, taking some carbs away from your meals, adding it like it's going to be in your Yochi. So like things like that. But it can never hurt to bank calories, right? So if we can plan for that weekend from the Sunday, Monday, like literally 5-6 days in advance, you can be so much more prepared, which means you can, especially if you're in a deficit, stay on track and make sure you're still progressing in your deficit without completely undoing everything. So it can never hurt to bank calories. And banking calories, I'll go into that after I speak to this other client example, actually. So I even had a client who she's just we're entering, what week are we entering? 1, 2, 3, 4. Entering week 5 of balancing her for this one client. And so we're entering a deficit because she's done 4 weeks at maintenance. Everything looks perfect. Her tracking's amazing. What's not in my fitness pal, it's in the food journal. I can see it all. Her weight has stayed the exact same. Her calories were much higher than she was used to, but it was clearly good for her maintenance. And she actually said to me, she goes, some days I struggle to eat all that food. Like it's so much more than I am used to. And I said, yeah, it is a lot more because firstly, my fitness pal tells us to eat fucking next to nothing. The online calculators you use don't take into account your lifestyle, any hobbies you have, your activity levels. It doesn't take into account any of that. So for me to give you those calories and you are pushing to eat them and then your weight and measurements have stayed the exact same, like that's fucking unreal if you ask me. So that is a true maintenance and just a proof that like you can eat more and not put on weight if you get it all worked out properly for you. So like I can help you with that. But she said that sometimes I struggle to eat that much. And I said, yeah, cool, that's so fine. So I just put her into a deficit. And again, it's going to be more than what she's used to being in a deficit. And I said, let that be that. If there are days where you can't hit the calories, let it be, because there's also days where you go out to eat. So it's like it balances out overall. And even though she's in the deficit, we're going to be more strategic. It's like the overarching thing is, it's like, cool, if you didn't eat all your calories on one day, but then you've eaten more on another day because you, again, went out to eat for whatever meal it was, it's going to balance out in the end. And this is also why calorie banking is really good. So calorie banking in itself. So for example, I did the numbers already because I'm not very good at thinking on my feet. So an example of calorie banking, let's say your maintenance is 2,500 per day. You track at 2,300 during the week. So like Monday to Friday, track at 2,300. That means you've saved 200 calories per day. If you times that by 5, it's 1,000, which means the day of your event, the Saturday, you've got an extra 1,000 calories to play with. Like, that's huge. And like 2,300 is a huge amount of food. So I really just picked a high number, but an extra 1,000 calories to play with on the Saturday is literally perfect. And I think from that alone, especially if you're in a maintenance, that can be enough. Like that, you don't even have to think to the day of as much. But if you're in a deficit, you got to be a little more strategic. You got to be a little more smarter with it. You've still got to think really strategically, obviously, throughout the week to make sure you're still feeling full, even though you've cut your calories a little bit. And then on the weekend, just making sure your day, like leading up to the event, you're still doing all the things that you should be doing to avoid a binge drink, like whatever the kind of thing is that you find you might typically go for. So the week of, definitely calorie banking, 100,000%. It just takes some of the stress off the day as well. Like when we go out to eat, or like out to an event or whatever it is, out to drinks, we should be able to enjoy it without the stress of numbers and just like mentally knowing like, cool, I've got 1,000 calories already, plus whatever I have left over for dinner itself. You could have like nearly up to 2,000 calories. Do you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like knowing that mental space of like, okay, I've actually got heaps of space. There's heaps of room for food here. Like, it just takes the stress off, and then you're less likely to want to binge eat and binge drink because you're like, no, like I'm actually good. Like I don't feel that like I'm depriving myself. It's like I've got space, so I'll just have what I want, enjoy it, and move on. To then speak to the day of, this is where you can be more specific with your tweaks, changes, whatever you want to call it. So again, especially if you're like in a deficit, like you're in the weight loss journey, I would look at, you definitely still need to eat breakfast 100,000%, right? I will talk about this until the cows come home. I don't know how many times I tell everyone to eat breakfast, but it is the number one fucking thing you need to be doing. Even if you're going out, even if you need to save calories, make sure breakfast is had. You just got to be smarter about it. So for an example, again, I've used my own example. So for me, typically at the moment, what I'm eating for breakfast is scrambled eggs and goat's cheese, like on like some kind of like roll or a muffin or sourdough, like some kind of bread, right? Some kind of carbs. So what I could do instead is I could turn that into, take away the carbs, like take away the bread. I could turn it into a nice big omelette. I'm still using 3 eggs. I can chuck some veggies in there, so get some extra fiber in, get some extra volume in there. I can add a little tin of tuna or chicken or salmon or something just to up the protein, up the fats a little bit, healthy fats, I should say. And it just kind of allows you to have a bigger breakfast for less calories and for more volume. So you're eating more, so you're still going to be full. And I typically do this when I enter a deficit anyway, just in general, because I like to eat a lot. But it's like you're going to be more full because you're eating a bigger meal, but it's just less calorie dense, if that makes sense. And it's higher in protein as well. So my biggest keys with that is higher protein, higher fiber / volume, which just means more veggies, more fruits kind of thing. Or I had another one as well. If you potentially, so I don't know, say you're eating like, I don't know, like say you have like a nice chicken tender wrap for lunch. Yum, I love a chicken tender wrap. But say you're having a nice chicken tender wrap for lunch, potentially it's like, okay, like maybe I'm not having the wrap and I'm having like a massive bowl of the salad, have the chicken tenders, still have a yummy sauce like a mayo or whatever kind of sauce you want on it. You're still getting that volume in. It's just you're going to be fuller for longer now because you're having more of the fibrous, voluminous, good foods and less of like the carby, high calorie foods. Or you could even go, no, I still actually want to have the wrap. Why don't I have plain chicken breast instead of chicken tenders? Because if you are unaware, yes, chicken tenders are chicken, they're protein, but like 2 chicken tenders is only like 10 grams of protein. Like it's not, maybe it's 15 grams. It's not a lot. Whereas opposed to if you had like the same amount of, I think it's 120 grams. If you had that of like raw chicken breast, you're getting like 25 grams of protein or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like making those smart swaps. And it's something that I actually always forget I have this. My clients have this. I have an ebook that's a smart swaps guide. So it's like if you need to swap out something for something high protein, there's the ebook's literally got like pages of like, here's all your protein options. This is how much of each you need to be having to hit 30 grams of protein, 40 grams of protein, 50 grams of protein, whatever the thing is. It's like, it tells you exactly what you should be having. So you're like, oh shit, like, you know, I need to get more protein. I need to swap out these chicken tenders for something. It's like you can go straight to that book and you're like, oh, cool. Like it tells me exactly what I can have to make up that lack of protein. So just little things like that is always really, really beneficial. Like I said, I do that in a deficit anyway because I like to eat a lot. Your girl loves to eat. So like I'll typically go for like, for example, like I said, I'm having eggs, cottage cheese on like some kind of carbs at the moment. When I enter my deficit, I'll likely, if I have any kind of carbs, which I probably will at the start, I'll just have an English muffin because it's much easier to control the calories on that. It's a bit lower carb. And then I'll just add, like I still have like 3 eggs. I'll just add either some beef mince or a tin of tuna or like something like that. And again, different tunas even have different amounts of protein. I love smoked tuna. There's something about it. It is so yum. And it's the highest in protein. So I'm like, I'll take it any day of the week. So I'll always add that to it as well. Anyway, that's a side note. And the other thing as well to do on the day of is keep your routine so normal. If you go to the gym on a Saturday, go to the gym on a Saturday. If you go for a nice long walk on a Saturday, go for your nice long walk. If it's just as simple as like, I move my body every day, move it in the way that feels good. Definitely try and get your steps up first thing so you're not thinking about it later. The next thing as well is your water. Have a lot of water. If you are going out drinking, especially you're going out to eat food, generally it's going to be higher in sodium. It's going to dehydrate you a bit more. Have more water because that's going to, again, help you with energy levels. I love having water for energy. Sounds really weird, but I've done a whole thing on this. So having your water, obviously for energy levels, is also going to keep you fuller throughout the day. So like you might be like, oh, I'm so hungry. But then you're like, oh, I've only had 500 mils of water. Have another 500 mils of water. Get it up there. Get it up to your 2 liters, whatever you usually have a day. And then again, you'll find later on that like you'll be more hydrated. So you'll be able to, me personally anyway, able to handle alcohol a little bit better, if that makes sense. Otherwise, like I could, if I'm dehydrated and I have like, even if I have just like a Pepsi Max, I'm like, oh, I feel shit already. So like just making sure you're staying hydrated. I didn't write on here, but definitely obviously sleep. Like you want to try and keep your sleep as good as normal the night before because when you don't sleep enough, that's when your hunger hormones are all different. And generally if you don't sleep enough, you're hungrier. So if you ever feel like you're having a really, like just any day in general where you're feeling starving, have a look at your sleep. Did you sleep enough? It's all to do with your hormones. So it's all very scientific. It's legit. I'm not just saying it for the fun of saying that because I'm a coach. But the last thing I kind of want to say on that is like literally keep your routine as normal as possible. Because the thing with that too is that if you spend the whole day being like, oh, cool, I move my body every day. Oh, cool, I have my water every day. Cool, I had enough sleep, I feel refreshed. Cool, I get my steps every day. You're naturally saying to your brain throughout the day, these are the things I do that make me feel good. Not from a place of like, oh, I have to do it to lose weight. From a place of I do these to feel good. So naturally when you go out, you've got more awareness. Your brain's kind of like, okay, do I actually need that extra side of whatever? Or is my meal enough? do I actually need 10,000 cocktails, or was a couple of them fine? And it's something that I really noticed as well, just me personally. Because I do all these things every day, I hit a point where I go, I've had enough. Like, I know my point of like, if I have one more drink, I'm tipping over the edge and I'm going to feel fucked tomorrow. Or if I know when I'm at that point and I go, nah, I'm actually good now, which I generally do 9 times out of 10, then I've had a great day. I've enjoyed my meal out. I've enjoyed my drinks. And then I get to go home and sleep and then wake up the next morning and I feel fresh. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, because my brain naturally goes like, no, like I've been feeling really good all day. I've been doing all the things that support my body. I don't need to go and fuck myself up on all these drinks. Do you know what I mean? Or like completely eat all this food and then like feel sick. Like I don't want to do that. Like it doesn't make me feel good. And so your brain's just kind of like naturally more inclined to feel that way, if that makes sense. How many times have I said if that makes sense? If you're going out, take a shot every time I've said if that makes sense. Oh God, I'd be on the floor. But yeah, like I said, main things to take away from this. This is a very short episode and I love it. Main things to take away from this, the week of, plan ahead. Make sure you're banking calories where you can. Again, if you're in a deficit and maybe your calories are already pretty low, you might have to be a lot more strategic. Take out some carbs somewhere throughout the day. Again, like I said, that meal, that breakfast, I would probably, if I had to be strategic, I'd probably take out the English muffin and I would just have beef mince, eggs, some kind of, I don't know, feta or goat cheese or something, some salmon or something for some healthy fats and some protein. High volume. I'd probably have some fruit on the side. High volume, keeps me fuller for longer. Got to keep me on track throughout the week. And then when I get to the weekend, I know I've got more calories to play with. So calorie banking is perfect. The day of all your meals, make sure you still eat breakfast. 100,000%. I don't care if you think you want to save the calories for later on. It's gonna make it worse later on. Trust me, I've been there. I know. I've done it. I've done the thing where I fasted all day until 1, 2 p.m. I'd have one little fucking salad. I'd have like 5 liters of water because I'd be starving. And I was like, I need to like drown myself to not think of this. And then I'd go out and then I'd be obviously pissed after one drink. And I was tiny as it was because I wasn't eating anything. And I would then binge eat because I was like, it's my one night to eat. And then I would fast again the next day, even though I felt like fucking trash. And it just became a whole vicious cycle. So please do not be that person. Please eat your breakfast, whatever it's going to look like. Have your lunch as well. This is assuming like you're going out for a dinner meal. You might be going out for a lunch. So then you will have your lunch there. But, which to say on that actually, if you're going to go for a lunch, right, have your breakfast, have your lunch when you're out. If you're coming home for dinner, you can still control your dinner. Like there's no need to be like, oh, fuck it. Like I'm just going to go and order whatever. It's like if you can control what you're having, if you have something at home you can make, like you can still do that. Like there's no rules to say that you can't. So something to think about. Because again, I used to be like, oh, well, I've eaten out for lunch. So that means I just eat out for dinner. And then like it just became a whole thing. And it's like, well, no, you don't need to. You can literally eat what you want. And sometimes it sucks. But it's just, especially if you're in a deficit or if you're trying to save money, it's the best thing to do. I even found last weekend, I knew I was going to be out on Sunday. And Saturday night, I was like, would love to go and get a GYG. But I was like, I don't need to spend the money. I can make something at home. And like, truthfully, it was a sad dinner, sad girl dinner. But I'm like, you know what? I sacrificed I was like, it's high protein, it's lower calories, it's keeping me on track. And I'm not spending money. So like, sometimes it's a bit like that, especially in the deficit, it's a bit like that. But yeah, just know that like, it's okay. You can do what you want to do. And if eating at home for dinner makes you feel good, then do that. And yeah, keep everything else as normal in the day, water, movement, whether it's gym, steps, both. Sleep is still good. Whatever habits make you feel good. If again, you're like me, and I think I said this in the last episode, if you're like me and like your social battery can drain quite quickly, make sure you're having some time in the morning to yourself, just to like kind of do what you need to do. Otherwise I find like I'm just like not thinking straight, and maybe it's ADHD, but I find that can really happen. Which, speaking of ADHD, the next episode you guys are going to love. It's all about ADHD and there's certain things that I want to talk about, which I'll get into when I'm in that episode. But that is all my notes. Wow, I've done it. I've done well this one. But if you are listening to this and you're kind of like, I feel like I need someone to help me, to guide me, like kind of like hold my hand as I navigate eating out, even if it's for like just like first 12 weeks and then you start to learn all the things. That is what I do with my clients. Like I said, we do this every week and check in. I'm like, this is my one-to-one clients. Every week and check in. I'm like, cool, like what's your plan for the week ahead? And then they'll tell me everything they got on. And I'm like, cool, we're in a deficit. Let's do this instead. Let's do that instead. Like, how can we bank here? How can we do that? You know, I even go, if you want to send me the menu to where you're going, I'll help you pick something that's going to be a bit more, you know, calorie friendly or like within like your kind of budget. Again, if you're in the deficit, if you're in maintenance, it's not such a big deal. It's like you have a bit more free reign, but it's depending on your goal and where you're at and all the things. So like I am so here for that. Feel free to send me a message on Instagram. But otherwise, I'm going to love you and leave you guys. Would love to know if you found something useful from this. Again, it's only so far 21 minutes. And my brain goes, was that helpful? But I'm like, I feel like it would be helpful to someone. So I would love to know if you found it helpful. If there's anything I said that you would like me to expand on in future episodes, please let me know. Just leave a comment down below or send me a message on Instagram and I'll absolutely get to that ASAP. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Feel free to share the potty on your stories, tag me so I can see that. Follow the podcast if you haven't already. And I'll speak to you guys in next week's episode. Bye.